Alright, so in this video, I'm going to help you understand a simple concept that can actually allow you to increase your retention rate. Now, just for a bit of context, I actually got this from one of Leila Hormozi's masterminds. If you don't know who she is, she's a CEO and managing partner of Acquisition.com, which right now, in terms of all of the holding companies, is doing around 250 million every single year. And it's the exact same concept that Gym Launch actually used to scale up while still maintaining that retention and keeping that client churn as low as possible, even when handling thousands of gyms. The truth is that this is a very, very simple concept. However, is one that not enough agencies are actually using. And the whole goal of this is just to increase your retention rate so you can make more money legally. Let's get straight into it. It all comes down to this very, very simple matrix, graph, whatever you want to call it. When it comes to agency work, there's two different things that come into play, right? We have results, which are, the promise that we actually give your clients, the product and the work you actually do for them, right? The physical work. Then you have the experience, which is kind of how you treat your customers along the way to getting them that specific desire. And, within this kind of matrix, there's four different quadrants that people usually fit in, and it directly correlates to their churn. So the first section or quadrant, whatever you want to call it, is low results and low experience. Now, quite obviously, this is the worst place to be in, and this is where churn will actually be the highest because you're not giving them the promise or the product that they actually came in for, and at the same time, you're not giving them that experience. That's like going to a 5-star restaurant, the food being horrible, uneatable, and at the same time, the waiters are rude, the chef is shouting in the kitchen, just a horrible experience whatsoever. You're very unlikely to go back to that restaurant, and it's the exact same thing with your agency. Now, if you're in this quadrant, you do need to focus on improving your results and also improving your experience, quite obviously. But I'm hoping most of you watching this are not in this space, because if you do, then I won't lie to you, you do have a lot of work to kind of go through. This is where churn will be the highest. The second place that we actually need to look at is high results, low experience. Now, this is where most agency owners actually fall into. And funnily enough, this is where churn is the most unpredictable. So even though you're getting clients in and you're getting them that end outcome, so for example, let's say you're a lead generation agency and you promise 10, 15 appointments a month, or let's say you're working with chiropractors and you promise to get them 5 new packages every single month of closed clients. Even though you're getting them the results, the churn may still be unpredictable because the experience is low. And I'll give you an example to really drive this in, because at first I didn't really understand this, right? Let's say you go to get a haircut, or if you're a woman watching this, let's say you go to get your nails done or your teeth whitening, right? Even though you may get that end outcome, so for example, a nice clean haircut, your teeth whitened, or your nails done, if that client experience isn't good, so for example, you're not greeting when they first come in, person that's actually doing the work is rude, and they're late on your appointment, different things like that, even though you got that end outcome, as soon as you find someone else that can get you that end outcome for a better experience, then you're replaceable, right? They're going to be looking to move away from you as soon as possible just because that experience was trash. And this is something that took me a while to understand, because I was so kind of results driven, right? To make sure, okay, cool, if you get people what they want, obviously, as long as you don't give them a horrible experience, then we should be all right. But the reality is that this is where you get unpredictable churn, and it can be very frustrating because even though you're getting your clients results, so let's say you're booking them appointments or you're getting them sales, different things like that, if that experience is not there, you're going to have unpredictable churn, and then people that you're actually getting results for are going to be churning out, and you'll be left there wondering, okay, what do we actually do wrong? I mean, they were getting 50 appointments a month. What's their problem? And it all comes down to you being replaceable. So if you're not giving them that experience, even though you're giving them good results, they are going to be looking for different companies to replace you so they can have a better experience. And this is where most agencies fall into, and I'll talk about that in a second. The third thing we want to talk about is the high experience, low results. Now, believe it or not, here you will actually have lower churn than you would in this section, where if you had higher results and a lower experience. It's because customers are twice as likely to churn out from a poor experience than from product or price. I'll say that again. Customers are twice as likely to churn out from a bad experience rather than product or price, so the actual results. And to me, that was, when I first heard that statistic, I was astounded. I mean, it's crazy to even think about. If you were to spend a little bit of resources into improving your customer experience, which in all honesty is a lot easier than providing amazing results, you'll be able to have a better impact on your churn rate and your retention by spending less money. I mean, just think about that, guys. Invest a little bit of money in your CSM teams, or even your own kind of skills in terms of customer experience will give you more of an impact than actually improving your product. And I will say, guys, throughout everything in my videos, I always mention client experience, different hacks to improve your client experience. But this has to be paired with clear results, because even though you're providing clients with the best possible experience over a longer period of time, if you still can't get them the result or the end outcome, you're just buying yourself time, and eventually they are going to leave for someone that can actually provide the best outcome. So I'm not saying focus all your resources on client experience and then don't provide any real results for your clients, because it's not going to work. Realistically, they're going to churn eventually. But it's important to take into account here that most people leave because of bad customer experience, and especially in the agency space, because when you're dealing with your different clients, you're dealing with them on a human level, right? You're talking mostly every single week, you're interacting with them and they're different employees. So having that human connection and building that experience for them is very, very important. The last section is most importantly the best place to be in. This is where you have results. And that's my attempt of doing a low star. But this is where you basically have results and experience at the same time. Quite obviously, this is where churn is the lowest and retention is the highest. And this, most importantly, and I'll talk about in a second, is where you get a bunch of different bonuses in different things like referrals and positive word of mouth. So let's talk about that for a second. As an agency owner, right, especially for we work with a lot of market agency owners, you guys can get results. That's not really the main issue. But as Alex Amosi says, even though results get people to buy the first time, kind of their promise, having that good experiences will get people to buy numerous times. And that's basically where retention really comes from. And one of the things I mentioned earlier is word of mouth and referrals. If you bring them a great experience and great results. And that's one of the bonuses of actually being in that fourth quadrant. Because if you provide one client with a great experience, they're going to go ahead and tell a friend about that great experience you actually provided them. And if you provide the exact same thing to their friend, so great experience and great results, they're going to refer you to more people. And then those people are going to refer you to more people. Now, I know this looks like a pyramid scheme. Don't worry, this is not a pyramid scheme. It's just a referral process. But you understand the idea. If you provide a great experience to one person, you're much more likely to get referrals and positive word of mouth in your industry. However, if you go back to this kind of section right here, if you provide them with good results and a low experience, so the second quadrant, they might refer you. But think about the conversation. Yeah, these guys were good. They got me the results, but in all honesty, I mean, it wasn't a great experience. I wouldn't recommend them, right? Whereas if you're number four, you'd be like, yeah, these guys smashed it. They got me amazing results, and the experience with them was lovely. Leo's a great guy. Different things like that, right? You're much more likely to get the referral in the fourth quadrant. By the way, guys, if you want to kind of watch a video on how to kind of build your own referral program and actually automate it, check out this video, because we build a whole referral program for you guys. So you can just copy and paste that straight into your agency. You kind of understand this quadrant, right? And the four different places. I hope you've been able to identify what place you're in. And I don't need to worry, because it's good that you're in the position right now, because now we can basically go through it and talk about how we can actually improve it to get to number four. In all honesty, I've been in 2, I've been in 3. Most likely when we first started, we were even in 1, right? But over time, you'll be able to kind of venture towards the 4 section, which is where you want to be. This is where the real gains from, and this is where the retention will be the highest. So let's talk about how to actually get to 4. Now, in all honesty, results is a bit harder to kind of talk about, just because even though we have mainly agency owners watching this, we have a ton of different niches and a ton of different business models, right? So this is not going to be a masterclass on results. The only thing I will say is don't promise the world and deliver on trash. I feel like after $100 million offers came out, everyone was just creating these crazy offers, which are a bunch of different promises, bunch of different guarantees, so on and so forth, to create a perfect offer. But I feel like a lot of people were over promising and under delivering, which is not what the book actually talks about. If anything, the book talks about to under promise and then over deliver. And that's what I see a lot of people not do, right? They promise the world, and then the reality is the services are just a pile of trash. They're not really worth anything compared to what they actually promised in the first place. So I think the easiest way to kind of improve your results is just to lower the standard, because in most cases, right, and this is from experience, because I've worked a lot of agencies myself, is clients will prefer just you being honest. So for example, rather than you saying, okay, I'll book you 50 appointments a day, say, okay, we're going to book you 20 appointments every single week consistently over the space of 6 months, which is firstly much more realistic for you to overpromise on that. But secondly, it's also kind of sets the right expectations, because if someone comes in with the expectation of you getting 50 appointments a day and you get them something like 10 appointments a day, even though that's great, right? They're going to be like, oh, what the hell? You promised me 50. So Don't overpromise. If anything, underpromise and overdeliver. That'll be an easy way to increase your results. But once again, it's kind of dependent on your specific offer, your different niche, and how you actually do it, which is why this isn't a masterclass. But what I'm actually showing you though is how to actually improve that experience. And we have 6 different points to talk over about how to actually improve that client experience very easily. And once again, guys, don't forget, customers are twice as likely to leave due to poor customer experience than actual bad product or price. So this is an easy way to increase your retention rate without having to focus too much on improving your product or different things like that. So the first thing I want to talk about is sending people updates. Now, this is a very easy thing to do, and it's based on a book called The Progress Principle, which is basically the concept that people feel more motivated towards a goal if they see progress actually being made. And and if you think about this, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Let's say onboarding process, you're meant to get them a win as soon as possible, so a small win, right? If you can't get them a win within 7 days, but every single day you've sent them a message just breaking down exactly what you're doing, the next steps, the kind of results from that, and what you're going to be doing next, then the customer's going to feel a relief, like, wow, these guys really know what they're doing. They're on top of everything, and they're doing a lot of work for me. So I'm super, super happy. So an easy way to improve the client experience is just to keep people in the loop. I see this all the time with different agencies that we actually work with over here at Fluxomate. They are doing so much behind the scenes and they don't really update their clients until they get the end outcome, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. If, for example, you're trying to set appointments for different agencies, right? Or let's say you're creating content for different agencies, and in a day you had your graphic designer create a poster, you had your copywriter create different descriptions for the captions or the videos, whatever. Send that update to the clients every single day. It's an easy way to just improve their experience by keeping them in the loop and just making them feel more secure in the work that you're actually doing. And once again, just think about it from a human's perspective. If someone was to send you a text every single day, letting you know exactly what they've done for that day and what they're going to do next, you're going to feel like they're doing a lot more work, even if those tasks are quite small. And we're going to apply the exact same principle to your agency to actually improve the client experience. The second thing I'm going to talk about is if you say you're going to do something, then actually do it. Now, once again, this is kind of ties back to over-promising and under-delivering. But this is more so on daily activities. An easy way to make your client feel insecure about what you're actually doing is, for example, on a call saying you're going to do something and then completely forgetting about it. Now, there are different tools that are going to help you with this. You can use one of those AI note takers like Fireflies or Fathom within your call to write notes on different next steps that you have to do. But this kind of applies not just to calls, but also different messages. So, for example, if you say, okay, I'll get this to you before the end of the week, make sure you actually get them to them by the end of the week, right? It's just an easy way to hold up your word and, an easy way to kind of have this and actually resolve any issues that you may have over promising is just when you say something, rather than saying by the end of the week, you can say by the start of next week's, and that buys you 2 days. You should still aim to get done by the end of the week. So once again, under promise and over deliver. However, you still have that time just in case anything comes up to avoid any delays. And this kind of ties into the next point, which is basically being proactive, not reactive. Now, this is probably the most important part of this whole kind of section going over how to actually improve your client experience, because it is the best way to provide your clients with a better experience. And that's basically being proactive for problems rather than reactive. So I'll give you an example of what this actually means. Let's say you had a house sitter. You're going on holiday and you left someone to actually look after your house. And that house sitter, left the tap on running, which caused a overflow, which then caused a leak, and so on and so forth, right? There's damage to your kitchen, basically. Would you rather, right, you have to come back home, spot the leak, message the house sitter and be like, okay, what happened? Or would you rather, as soon as the leak happens, the house sitter takes a picture, sends it to you, calls a plumber to the house to get it fixed, and lets you know everything's under control, right? I know what I would much rather. Being proactive is one of the things that's going to pay off, because you're firstly increasing that transparency, you're letting them know everything is under control, and you're also building that trust, right? And I've seen this in so many different agencies that we work with. Once again, let's say our ads are underperforming, right? Or let's say, we weren't getting as many leads as we wanted. If every single time I had to bring it up, the problem, and be like, okay, guys, what's actually going on? And then they kind of responded to me, it didn't really make me feel that secure. However, every single time the agencies first message me and we're like, hey, Leo, I know we're not getting that many leads. This is what we're going to do differently this week to get a difference. I will make sure to keep an eye on it for you. That makes me feel so much more secure as a client, and I'm much less likely to churn out because I'm putting that trust in a service company that they actually know what they're doing. They've been in a situation before and they can actually solve my problem. So please, guys, if you take anything away from this video, is to be proactive rather than reactive, because it's an easy way to increase your retention and just increase that transparency in your company. I'll drill this into every single one of your customer success staff, media buyers, whoever you may have. The fourth thing is keeping clients accountable. Now, this is a bit of a touchy subject, but ever since we started doing it, it's worked the charm. And the whole reason we're actually doing this, guys, is because if there are any delays, they're not going to be like, okay, yeah, you're right. I didn't send you that piece of content for 7 days, which is why there's a 7 day delay. They're going to be like, why hasn't this been done for 7 days? I just sent the information over now. So the way I see it is literally your role to keep them accountable in order to give them results. Because if you're not, then you're kind of providing them with a disservice because you know you can actually help them, but by them not providing you with the relevant information, you can't help them, you can't get them results, and at the end of the day, they're going to churn out because there's a bunch of delays, even if it's not your fault. So I'm telling you guys, if you work with your clients and you ever need something to do it, let them know you're going to hold them accountable and frame it in a way that is beneficial to them. So for example, what I say is, okay, hey guys, I'm sure you're super busy, but please kind of take 5 minutes today to go over and complete this task, because if you don't, then there's going to be delays on the project, and I don't want you guys to have any sort of delays in getting the desired outcome. And obviously the desired outcome would be something like, I don't know, 20 leads in a month, whatever can you kind of guarantee or promise is when you actually start work with them. This has worked the charm for me, guys. And honestly, at the start, we did have a lot of churn for people not handing over stuff, and then obviously having delays, especially because we're dealing with agency owners who are very, very busy people. But ever since we started employing this and actually holding our different clients accountable, we've been able to reduce our churn rate and just provide our clients with a better experience because they know we're looking out for them, especially with the way we frame it in those different questions, like I showed earlier. Just making sure we actually give them the best possible experience. The fifth thing I want to talk about is improving your onboarding process. Now, I don't remember where I saw this stat, but it basically said that if you improve your onboarding process, it's the easiest way to decrease your churn rate. And this does make a lot of sense. I've got so many videos going over onboarding, but the main kind of concept I want to drill in here is that you want to make a good first impression. So you don't want to have any delays in your onboarding process. You don't want to have any mistakes in your onboarding process, different things like that. And the reason we're actually doing this is because of first impressions. Think of this like you're meeting someone for the first time, right? If they come in, they're drunk, they can't speak well, I don't know, they stink, right? You're going to make that a bad first impression of that. And that's, in all honesty, going to taint the rest of the relationship, even if down the road they patch themselves up, right? This is the exact same thing for your onboarding process. You're making a first impression to your clients, and you don't want to be that sloppy guy who's full of delays at the very start, because that's just going to decrease that trust that they actually have for you and increase that buyer's remorse, which will make them much more likely to do different things like chargeback, which obviously is the worst case scenario. But in all reality, it's going to make them decrease that trust, right? So in a period of time, let's say 30 days, 60 days, that it may take to actually get that major outcome for them, they're not going to have trust for you, so they're more likely to churn out earlier, which means you don't get to have that higher lifetime value. If you improve your onboarding process by clearly outlining it, adding different automations, and just having a clear understanding of everything that should happen within the first 24 hours, 7 days, and 30 days, then you'll be in a much better position than any other agency out there, because you'll be able to have a great first welcome and set the relationship right from the very, very start. Once again, I've got so many videos going over onboarding. So if you want some inspiration when it comes to the perfect onboarding process or even different onboarding automations, just check out my channel. I've got so many videos out there, guys. Honestly, it's a bit tiring, but please, if you're going to do two things from this, is be proactive and improve your onboarding process, because it's such an easy thing to do. I mean, it wouldn't take you longer than 30 minutes to kind of map out your onboarding process, and let's say another hour to set up different automations. And the actual return you get from that is unbelievable, guys. And if you don't have any onboarding process, right, I recommend you test it just for one person, right, and see the kind of difference in the relationship they actually have. So map out the onboarding process, bring on a new client, and bring the new client on with a better onboarding process, and then compare that to the experience that that client will give you, and also the experience that that client will have in the different testimonials you connect, compared to someone who doesn't go through that onboarding process. And I can almost guarantee, right, the person that goes through the structured onboarding process, if you've done it properly, will have a better experience with you guys and will have a higher lifetime value. The last thing I want to talk about is collecting and implementing feedback. Now, this is something that I feel like a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't do the right way. Collecting and implementing feedback is one of the best ways you can actually improve both your results and your customer experience. And, this could be simple, right? You can do this every 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, even at the very start of working with your clients. It just depends on kind of the frequency and the average time period that you're actually dealing with people. But this kind of breaks into two parts. The first part is collecting feedback, and the second part is implementing the feedback. Because if you don't do the second part, then there's no point collecting. It's like getting a friend to open up to you, and then after they've kind of broken down the whole life story, cried over the phone with you, different things like that, you don't do anything and change your behavior. That just makes me feel like shit. So you don't want to do that, right? If you get someone to open up to you about the different problems that they may have or different ways you can improve your process, if the actual feedback is relevant, then you need to make sure that you apply it and the rest of your team apply it. Now, in terms of actually collecting, the easiest way to do this is first to ask about a positive thing and then to ask about a negative thing. Now, the reason is some people may be scared of confrontation. So, they might keep it under the surface level. But if you first ask for a compliment, then they're more likely to then give you a negative feedback. And then once they actually give you some sort of negative feedback, don't just stop there. Because, a lot of times you're just kind of opening the book, right? Just peeing the page or slightly creaking the door. But that's where you have to put your foot in and really open the door wide to get all of the problems through. Because as soon as you can actually find out what the problems is, then you can improve your results, you can improve your experience, and there's so many more benefits from actually collecting and implementing that feedback. There's actually a survey out there by Qualtrics, which is a data company, that basically showed that if companies that had a voice of the customer program, which basically just collected and implemented feedback for the clients, had a 15-20% higher upsell and cross-sell across the whole company. So obviously that's not directly tied to client experience, but realistically, if they were upsold to a different product or even cross-sold to a different product, you can kind of assume that they had a good experience, or else why would they actually do that? So please, make sure you actually collected implemented feedback. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's different ways you can actually improve your client experience. If you want to check out a much more detailed guide of 9 different ways you can actually decrease your churn rate, you can check out this video. It's one of my favorite videos I've done, and honestly, it hasn't got enough love. So if you want more videos going over all of these points and more in much more detail, check out that video. But I hope I've kind of driven in how to get to that 4th stage and this kind of quadrant between results and experience. And once again, all credit of this goes to Layla. I learned this from her, but it's such an interesting concept that I thought I had to share with you guys, because I feel like a lot of marketing agency owners and just service-based business in general are in the second quadrant, where they're providing their clients with results. However, they are having unpredictable churn because their experience is not there. And even though you're getting these guys appointments, you're getting these guys sales, you're getting these guys different content or views, people are still churning out. And you're left there thinking, why is this actually happening? And that's because you're not giving them experience. They're basically looking to appraise you as soon as possible. But if you provide them with great results and a positive experience, you'll be able to increase your retention rate and make more money every single month in monthly recurring revenue. And that's not the only bonus, right? If you provide your clients with great results and a great experience, the word of mouth that you're going to get and the number of referrals you're going to be coming in, which are basically free leads, is going to be outstanding. You're going to have much higher increase in cash collected. And fun fact, by the way, referrals have 18% higher lifetime value than normal leads and convert 5 times higher than leads from paid ads. So, invest in your customer experience, invest in your results, and then invest in a referral program so you can get more leads which are cheaper and worth more to your agency. I hope this video made value, guys. Bit of a short one today, but I really did want to drive in this point. If you don't know where you are in this matrix, try to figure it out, and then from that you can kind of decide where to go. So for example, if you're 2, then you need to improve your customer experience. If you're in 3, then you actually need to create better results for your clients. And if you're 1, then you need to do a bit of everything, because you don't want to be in 1. That's why churn is the highest, retention is the lowest, and that's where you're going to be making the least amount of money. Because the real money comes in that payment after, which in all honesty is quite simple to do. All you have to do is just be a human, actually care about the people you're dealing with, and it'll increase the amount of money you make as well as making referrals. So the benefits are literally there. It makes a lot of sense to actually do this, so I can't recommend it enough. If this video is valuable, make sure to like, subscribe. We post content like this every single week, going over different ways you can increase your customer experience, decrease your churn rate, and increase the retention rate so you can make more money within your agency on the back end. If any of this was interesting as well, we also do have a community, the Scale Proof Agency Hub. Within there we have all different resources from our YouTube videos, a Scale Proof roadmap going over exactly how to set up Scale Proof systems in your agency. And also, you get direct access to me and a community with over 160 different agency owners from all over the world looking to set up Scale Proof systems. If any of that was interesting, you can check out the first link in the description to actually join. It's 100% free as everything else that we actually put together. So if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, or you just want to be around different agency owners who are all looking to sell scale-proof systems, then get access using the first link in the description. Apart from that, guys, I can't recommend this video enough. If you're interested in kind of increasing or improving your client experience, then this video right here will give you 9 different ways you can actually do that, which are much more detailed guide. And the cool thing about this video is for every single point I provide you with some sort of proof that actually does have a positive impact on churn. So if that sounded interesting, then make sure to check out the video in the top right hand corner. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it from me. If you have any sort of questions about anything I talked about today, leave a comment below. We are still a very, very small channel, so if you leave a comment, we're 100% going to see it and give you an in detail response. So I'd love to know, if you have any questions about anything I talked about today, or even what position you are in this kind of matrix. Because when I first did this kind of exercise and I realized the position I was in, I knew what I was aiming for and I knew what I had to do to actually get there. So the first thing you need to do is just figure out where you are, and then you can kind of go from there. But guys, I hope this video is valuable. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, that's it.